I'm continuing my explorations in Jiangmen City today, and I am so excited because today I'm going to be visiting something that's been on my China bucket list for like 4 or 5 years. So today we're heading to Kaiping, which is another district in Jiangmen City, and we're heading there to see the Diaolou. So what are Diaolou, you may be asking? Well, and I don't know about you, but I had never seen a building like this before. And here in Kaiping, Diaolou are everywhere. It's been so exciting driving through this region because I've been catching glimpses of them everywhere. I remember when I first saw a picture of a Diaolou 4 or 5 years ago, and it's one of those things that you look at and you have to kind of look at again. And the more that you look at it, the more you see interesting features and things that don't really make sense unless you know the history behind these Diaolou. So what you'll notice at first glance is that a Diaolou is kind of a mix between Western and Chinese architectural styles.
Generally, our building, the Chinese building, don't looks like that.
You'll see some columns here, some domes there, some, interesting European style trim on the houses there. So the reason why these structures have such a unique architectural style lies in the fact that this region of Kaiping in the 18th and 19th centuries was a region of mass immigration overseas.
In the last century, there are so many people live here. They are in a poor situation. They need to go out abroad to make a living for their family. So they will go out to immigrate or to go out to other countries and work there. And after they get rich, they earn enough money, they come back here, come back to their hometown, and they build up here.
Not only did they use the money they acquired overseas to build these Diaolou, they would also use concepts from Western architecture to meld the two cultures.
那它叫碉楼呢，是根据西方的一种碉堡，它作为一个中西合璧的一种建筑。
You've definitely got elements of Chinese design in this and Western design in such a unique, flamboyant fashion that it's got to be one of the most interesting things I've seen. And I'm not the only one fascinated by them. In 2007, Kaiping Diaolou were dubbed a UNESCO World Heritage Site. But apart from being very interesting aesthetically, back in the day, the Diaolou functioned to defend and protect the people inside it.
It's a very basic concept in the Chinese culture. The family is based on the house. So first things first, we need to have a house.
Yeah.
And then why we build up the Diaolou? Diaolou is a little bit different from the normal house. They have a function to protect themselves from the thief.
1933年之前呢，这里呢是土匪之声，那人们呢是为了防御土匪而建起了碉楼。
Let's see if these Diaolou are a Western feeling on the inside as they are on the outside. Okay, we're on the ground floor as we speak, and we have a grandfather clock here, so I guess that kind of answers my question.
我们可以看到它上方呢有一些凹陷的地方啊，那这些的话呢都是当时那些土匪呢用一些刀啊、斧头啊砍下来的痕迹啊。因为当时这里呢非常的贫穷，那华侨有钱呢是非常显眼的啊。那当时呢也是这些土匪呢非常凶狠。
And on the second floor, you'll find 2 little holes in the ground, which functioned as another protective mechanism.
那他呢是往下打枪，他们家门口那个范围呢都在他们家这2个枪眼的射程范围之内。
This place feels like such a time capsule. It feels like I've gone back in time like 100 years. All the furniture is preserved as how it would have looked like. Kind of a disintegrated picture of what looks like 2 foreign kids here. But speaking of mix between Western and Chinese styles, I simply had to pay a visit to Liyuan Garden. It's one of the most incredible examples of mixing architectural styles. So this was built here in 1936 by a wealthy Chinese immigrant that came back to China. So this here is the owner of the complex. His name was Mr. Xie Weili. And he made this amazing array of villas. We've got a Diaolou here and the gardens. The gardens are absolutely beautiful. Seriously, being here, it's so confusing because part of me thinks I'm in, Europe in a beautiful European garden, and the other half of me feels like I'm in a very traditional Chinese garden. It's a very interesting example of mixing different styles, and the building behind me here, Honestly, I've never seen anything like it before in China. Isn't that incredible? We're actually gonna go inside and have a look what it looks like. Wow. You have these Roman columns here, contrasted against this very Chinese style background here. And then if we look over here, we actually have a chimney. Heading upstairs. What's this view like? Wow, check this out. Isn't that beautiful? Oh. Oh, we have a toilet and a bath. And it says here, American style bathtub. So I learned that Xie Weili, the owner of this villa complex, actually spent 10 years in the United States. When he came back to China and built this complex, he incorporated a lot of the modern Western elements like sinks, bathtubs, flushing toilets, chimneys, and marble tile into its design. I also spotted some antlers on the wall, which I highly doubt is a traditional feature of Chinese interior design. Lian Garden is definitely a very fascinating place. Can you see this sweat on my face? Sightseeing in the south of China in summer, it's no joke, absolutely no joke. That is intense. Guys, you're both from Guangdong province, born and raised. Do you ever get used to the heat?
No, nah. It's like cooking me. I'm dying.
Yeah, I guess 40 degrees and 90% humidity is just something you don't get used to. My face is so red. But after a hefty aircon break, I was ready to get back to exploring the Diaolou. I am currently on the roof of a Diaolou and check out this amazing view. Just Diaolou, 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 everywhere you can see. And even though they're all in the same area, they all look completely different. It feels like they're using different reference material to build all of these. This one over here looks very Roman with these kind of columns happening over here. The one over here looks quite like some kind of medieval castle in appearance. And this one over here, I don't know, it's different, you know? So yes, definitely some people went overseas and hit the jackpot, made a lot of money, but that definitely wasn't always the case. It wasn't the case that every single person that left Jiangmen, left Kaiping to go overseas made a whole lot of money. Going overseas to find work at that time was a huge risk, and the first step in that process was getting on a boat.
他这种华侨的话呢，他们出国回国都是要坐船，那航程的话呢是要看天气的，天气好的话呢就3-4个月，天气不好呢就要1年半载。一来一回的话呢，就要2-3年了，所以的话呢是非常不容易回来一次。当时的船票呢非常贵，甚至呢有一些华侨是一辈子都没有赚到钱，买到一张船票回来看一下自己的家人了。
So this here is the typical size of the main cabin on a boat that would be used to carry around 300 people for that time at sea.
那么这些华工呢，他们在乘船出洋的主要过程当中，主要的活动区域就是这么小的船舱了，所以当时他们的生活环境是非常恶劣的。
So I just learned that the mortality rate on these boats coming from China to other countries around the world, like Australia, Canada, America, the death rate was usually around 30%, and in the worst case scenario, it was around 70%. 为什么他们这么想去国外呢？
因为当时呢，在中国，在国内，尤其5亿呢，我们的人们是非常贫穷的。那当他们听说国外的一个工作收入很高，比他们留在本地的收入高很多，那么他们就会希望说出国，然后呢挣到一份比较高的收入，然后可以赡养家人。
The Jiangmen area is one of the first places in Guangdong from where people emigrated abroad. Early on, most of them emigrated to Southeast Asia, but upon learning of the discovery of gold in the United States, many people from Jiangmen went to the US in search for gold. The city of San Francisco was actually dubbed Golden Mountain in China. In the 1950s, gold was then found in Australia, so San Francisco became known as Old Golden Mountain, and Melbourne was dubbed New Golden Mountain. In 1862, the Transcontinental Railroad was built in the US, and the western section of it was built mainly by Chinese laborers from Jiangmen. The living and working conditions during construction were not great, to say the least, and many of these workers died from explosions, freezing temperatures, and exhaustions. And for those who did survive the experience, most of them never got the chance to go back to China and see their families again.
那能够回到自己的家乡来呢，见到这么大的房子呢，是非常了不起的。
So it was really only the richest people that could come back and build these Diaolou. And this legacy of overseas Chinese returning to China and contributing to the local culture here remains to this day. This temple actually behind me was funded and renovated by someone actually living in Sydney at the moment, and it's a family temple dedicated to the Lin family. So people with the last name Lin from all over the world can come here and pay respects to their ancestors. So yes, here in Kaiping you can definitely find some amazing examples of preserved Diaolou that look just as good as they were the day they were built. But at the same time, there are so many Diaolou in Kaiping. I think there's almost 2,000 of them. And I'd say the majority of them are not super well maintained. Most of them are empty, and some of them are actually kind of scary. There are some ghost stories going around about Diaolou actually.
As a local here, I heard of quite a lot of stories about Diaolou is haunted in an old building, and is abandoned and empty for more than like 50 years. And during that wartime, so that chaos, I think there will be a lot of people dead inside the building, right?
Yeah.
So theoretically, there will be ghosts.
So we think we found a haunted Diaolou. We have no evidence to support this, but we think we're getting a vibe from it. It does have a bit of a haunted house feel to it. Look at it. And we collectively pooped our pants when we thought we saw something in the window. Any ghosts?
Nah, just some old furniture.
We're gonna go back to the car now. Because of its past as a centre of emigration overseas, it's often said that there are two Jiangmens, one in China and the other overseas. As a result, Jiangmen is a city with a rich and diverse blend of the new and old, domestic and overseas. I think, yeah, these Diaolou really represent so many things and are such an amazing thing to be able to see with my own eyes, and I'm so happy I finally got a chance to see it. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye!